Dudes, what's going on? Happy hump day to ya. I made it. I made it here. Aren't you proud of me? You really should be. That's more and more impressive of a feat every day, it seems like. Oh man. Well, hello everybody. I'm Milkman Al. Hopefully your week is going well for you. I am fresh off another 24-hour call. Or no, it's not 24 hours anymore. Oh my god. That's just imprinted in my brain. It's 16 hours during the week. Which is so nice. Holy shit, that's nice. Such a great, great change. But, yeah, it was a good call. Showed up, finished a couple cases, including a couple big ones, actually. It was kind of busy in the afternoon. But then, did nothing. It was great. I love doing that. I love not doing anything, if at all possible. So yeah, here we are. It's League Start. It's League Start, baby. And it's going great for me. I haven't gotten as much playtime as I would like to, but I'm getting there. I'm getting along. Got to play a decent amount last night, so that was nice. But I am not the fastest player. I am not a racer. So I'm, yeah, level 65. I'm almost through the campaign. And I am playing what right now is an Ethereal Knives, Poison, and Toxic Rain Pathfinder. Soon to be a Blade Blast Ethereal Knives Pathfinder, I hope. So I need to find some Lingering Blades. So, yeah, I can just search for that, actually. Ethereal Knives of Lingering Blades. They are like 10 chaos last I saw. So I am a fair distance away from that. Okay. 8 months of AA rotations. Oh, so close, so close. I'm assuming you have a job. I feel like most AAs get snatched up pretty quickly within a year of their graduation. Where are you going, if you don't mind sharing? Haven't signed yet? Oh, okay, okay, cool, fair enough. Well, demand is there, that's for sure. You can pretty much go anywhere you want as long as it's within one of those 18 states. You'll sign sometime in the spring, really? Okay. So you graduate in May, though, right? Holding your cards, fair enough. Fair enough. Nothing wrong with that, man. Play them off of each other. And there's, you know... Oh, you graduate in August. Oh, okay. So at the UMKC program, they graduate in May. And then they have to, like, sit around for, like, 2 months or something. It, doesn't make any sense. Yeah, like, the UMKC grads get really hosed. I feel like they just sort of get screwed out of, you know, 2+ months of pay, basically. That's ridiculous, man. That is absolutely ridiculous, and there's no reason for that. Yeah, I know plenty of people who, like, they missed, you know, they weren't, like, slow or anything, but they just missed some, like, deadline. And Missouri is really notoriously slow for turning around licenses anyway. And so because of that, and my hospital historically has been, you know, very archaic in how they credential people. Like, they only meet once a month to credential people. Like, why can we not just, like, do this anytime? We basically just sign a piece of paper and they're credentialed, right? Like, it's not a big deal. Yeah, St. Louis has that, but I don't think Kansas City does. So, ooh, that seems a little loud for stream, maybe. Turn that down. As soon as I'm not in danger of dying. Okay. Ah, son of a bitch. Yeah, you will definitely need a break, I get that, but it comes at quite a hefty price, right? Like, $20,000 or something coming out of your pocket. There we go. We'll try that. That's probably a little better. Yeah, I've never really understood that. Oh well, whatever. Yeah, a lot of my friends did that too, actually. They took a break after residency, the, like, brutal ass pounding that is residency. And I was like, yeah, I sort of want to make that money, dude. And so I started working literally the day after my residency finished. Doesn't want to move to St. Louis? Why not? St. Louis is so great. There's, like, beer, bad beer, and, you know, crime. I mean, what's not to love? The best place ever. Dude, it's way better than Florida. Who wants beaches and, like, comfort and things to do? Not me. But yeah, Missouri is, like, if you could do it outside of St. Louis, dude, there are places really, really hurting for AAs right now, and they are paying out the ass. I haven't looked at locums jobs for a little bit. I'll actually do that in just a second, as soon as these dudes said to eat a dick. Let's see. But yeah, I would not be surprised if you could get like $250 per hour, that is. She's from New York and hates the cold? Okay. It's way colder in New York than it is here most of the time.
Even better with a weapon
There you go.
than with words.
Alright, let's see. Let's
Death
get
is
that.
what separates. You should have given.
Yes, I will
It's time
take
to
your
play it
ideas.
spying.
Can't work locums? Yeah, I guess that's probably true. That'd be tough. That'd be real tough to do. Alright, let's see. Let's see what the locums market looks like, just for shits and giggles. Search AA jobs in Missouri. Let's see, W2, 230. I mean, oh, for Luke's? Luke's is still looking for people? Interesting. I thought they were full. $100,000 commitment bonus? Fuck, okay. Wow. Wow. Alright. So 50k signing bonus? Jesus, they need people real bad. No OB, peds, or heads or hearts? Huh. Oh, it's team health. Boo. Yeah. Okay. Well, they will make you earn that signing bonus for sure. Yeah, it sounds cushy. That's the thing. But team health is they are a notorious provider mill. They're like one of the worst offenders as far as like corporate anesthesia goes. But if you can stick it out, yeah, only 6 weeks of vacation too. That sort of sucks. If you can stick it out for, you know, whatever the terms of your contract are that you have to fulfill to not pay that back, then that's not bad. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, like, the market is so good right now that they can't really afford to totally ream people. Because they'll just instantly lose their staff, and then they will have to pay locums. And that's, as discussed, very expensive. Chronic pain, blah blah blah. Does this tell anything more about it? Paid retirement. They'll fly you there to interview. Interesting. Okay, well that doesn't tell you too much. I don't think they didn't mention call frequency, did they? First and second call weekends only. I mean, if there's only 3 people, that sort of sucks, right? It's the only week. You only work 2 out of 3 weekends. No big deal. Tallahassee Memorial. Okay. Yeah, I think Florida's market is pretty good too, from what I understand. We actually lost a couple people to Florida, to like the University of Florida actually, but 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And they had a very competitive offer. I forgot what they were paying at that point, but it was a lot. I think it was like $195 an hour or something. You rotated there. I'm not sure I want to dox those people online, but if you know anybody from Missouri, then you probably met them. Good guys, both of them. One of them is a very friendly, tall, gay dude, and the other is a fencer, like a national champion fencer. Like I think he's like literally the best in the country. One of them sounds like Moist Critical. Just neither of them looks like Moist Critical. I already went. I did that. Okay. I'm trying to get my place here. One of them sound. Oh, you mean like actually sounds like has a voice that sounds like Moist Critical? I actually don't know what Moist Critical sounds like. Let's listen to Moist Critical real quick. I'll do that. Yep, I'll do that just for you and for my own curiosity. Here we go.
Have you ever really taken a step back and got deep in thought and realized just how incredible it is that we as humans are able to speak to each other?
Not that I recall. But yeah, Florida's a good place to be. Like, if you're already there, not a whole lot of motivation to move out of that situation. For sure. Yeah, maybe different guy. Yeah, one of them. It's kind of an interesting story. Like one of them actually had family there, and sort of moved to. I think this is the gay guy. He had recently broken up with his boyfriend of, I don't know, X amount of time, like long-term boyfriend, and he's like, I really don't have a whole lot of connections here, and this job is awesome. And I think he went there sort of with the intention of just fulfilling his contract, because there was a huge sign-on bonus. It was locums work, but they gave him a signing bonus nonetheless for like a commitment. And there was like lots of opportunity for overtime, and he was young and looking to just like crush his loans and stuff, so he went down there. And then the other guy was like, wow, that sounds like a great idea, I'll follow you. And did not quite have the right mindset. Like, I think he went down there thinking this was going to be a cash cow, but locums sort of have a tendency to get eaten alive because they're, in theory expendable, and they're only there temporarily. So like you're much more likely to get shit on than their actual like full-time employees, or even part-time employees, really. Carolina's pay sucks. Yeah, for some reason Carolina doesn't pay healthcare providers very well. I looked into that because I went to UNC. I went to college there, and I have several friends in various parts of the state. Actually, a guy from my class is an emergency med doctor in Asheville, and I love Asheville. So I thought moving out there might be a decent idea, but no, it's like a 40% pay hit. So I think that I made a wise choice not going with that. Ow. God damn. Get out of here. They have a 1-to-3 ratio? That's kind of interesting. Why do they do that? Is that a state thing? Or like a state law? It's just like, if you're not gonna do the 1 to 4, like, do MD only. I mean, that seems pretty dumb. It's a law for it's a state law for CRNAs. Why does that benefit them though? Like, why would they lobby for that? Oh, so they can operate independently, I see. Got it. Yeah, that's not something I would want if I were a patient, that's for sure. I mean, most of the time it doesn't make a difference, but... Like, would you want to take care of a patient solo with no backup? Probably not, right? That's what they're doing. They don't think of it that way, of course, but that is what they're doing. The ones who want to practice independently, that is. And I don't really have to deal with that so much because the people around here who want to practice independently just drive outside the city. And there's so many rural locations where they can do that it's a non-issue. Nobody really fights it. So like if you're working in the city, it's because you choose to. You know, it's not like that. It's not like they're being restricted and held back or anything. So no hard feelings. Wait, did I kill Boulderback? I don't think I did. I think he nuked me from orbit. Because I was not paying attention. I'll take that Jeweler's Orb. Yes, please. Or did I get it? Little calendar. Oh, I did get it. Okay, sweet. I don't remember doing that at all. I must have amnesia or Alzheimer's or something. Ah! There we go. Yeah, well that's awesome that you're about to graduate, man. That's gotta be a good feeling. I absolutely could not wait for residency to be over, so... Yeah. Good times. It's also nice that you have a few job offers, you know, lined up. A lot of times, though, you can't really, like, play people against each other, because they're kind of like, this is our offer, take it or leave it. Like, we will hedge, like, I can only speak in details regarding our offers, but, like, most of the time, you know, we can negotiate a little bit on the front of, like, fringe benefits, like sign-on bonus or, like, expenses. You know, we can pay, like, a little more for moving expenses or something like that, but as far as our salary structure, it's set, just to keep things fair. Maybe I should run for president? Dude, maybe I should. That's a great idea. I just have to get really stupid and forget everything, and then I will be the perfect candidate. I don't know, I'm not 80 though. So even though I may functionally be 80, I'm not sure that I qualify. You like the salary it's tiered? Yeah, so it didn't used to be for us. And there was a lot of like mistrust and resentment and stuff because different people had brokered different deals. And, you know, that's just, like, super unfair, basically. Like, imagine if you had negotiated your contract in 2019, and then COVID hit and made the entire healthcare market just go absolutely fucking berserk. And, you know, somebody comes along 1 year later and is, like, literally making 20% more than you are. Like, how do you negotiate a 20% raise? Yeah, so we try to keep things as fair as possible. And, you know, as you say, a tiered salary is a good way to do that. And that's what we have. Like, and it's all experience-based. And it ramps up to max pretty quickly, though, I think. I think max is, like, 4 or 5 years or something. Oops. Oh, that is not at all what I wanted.
I'm not up to that just yet.
You get down there, taskbar. Hmm. Oh, goodness. My freaking nose. I swear to God. I am just, like, always, like, borderline sick. Having kids is brutal, dude. Son's sick, daughter's sick. You know you're gonna get it. You just see it coming. You just hope it's not bad. So yeah, we've talked a fair bit about salary and stuff now, but for those of you who actually read the title, one thing that I sort of wanted to talk about was income for doctors, because we're dumbasses. We're huge dumbasses. You don't think I've ever been in a stream where I didn't have a stuffy nose? Because I'm always freaking stuffy, dude. It's ridiculous. I mean, I've got pretty bad allergies anyway, and then having kids on top of that is just like freaking disaster. And I kind of live in a like dry, old, sort of dusty house too. That also does not help. It's something about old houses. It just like sucks the moisture right out of the air, man. The humidity here is very low. I think it's like 30-something%, even though we have a humidifier on our, well, we have a humidifier on our like our main, where does it heat and cool? Basement and first floor HVAC, but we can't put one on the one that does the second and third floors, because the like plumbing is wrong, basically. Long story short. Where is the Trial of Ascendancy? Is it down here? Oh, it's way fucking down there, of course. Of course it is. You know, I probably should have just run to the quarry, but I didn't realize it was down there. Yeah, so Reddit triggered me. Reddit triggered me. There was a guy, I'll show you the post in just a second, but there was somebody in the residency subreddit who was asking, like, which job should he take, and it was like a, you know, 500k a year for GI, Mr. Princess, 500k a year versus like 650, and that was an academic gig, versus 650 a year private practice or more. And he was like, which should I take? And there's a bunch of people in there who are like, oh, well, at that level of income, your income is, like, the difference between those things is negligible. And I feel like my eyes are going to, like, explode out of my head from rolling so hard when I hear that sentiment. And it's like everywhere. I don't know if it's just on that Reddit, or like that's really how most doctors think. That is just like the most asinine shit ever. Like, why? What do you mean it's enough? Like, you're just gonna like voluntarily choose to make $150,000 less because something is enough for you? like, well, if 500 is enough, surely you could take the 650 and just work fewer years, right? So here's the post. So would you take 500k in an academic GI or 650 in hospital employed GI? Academic is a 4-day work week, which is good, right? Q5 call, which is probably not good. Fellows and residents is nice because they see all of your consults and stuff for you. Retirement, yeah. Ladder and administration, if that's your thing, sure. Chances are pretty good that that will not net you more than $500,000 until you're like at the top, but you know, whatever. Or the hospital employed 5 days a week, they have clinics, scope cases, but you can make a shit ton of money. So this is what triggered me, and I got downvoted like crazy, as you can see there. Like, everybody does not like the fact, I mean, I could have been nicer about it, surely. But, like, 30% income difference, guys. Lifestyle difference between 500k and 650k is negligible. That is utter crap. That is just purely false. And I've heard people say that, like, for all incomes. They're like, well, you know, I could take this family medicine gig for 250 or for 300. It's really about the same, you know, the income difference is negligible. It's like, no, it's not. No, it isn't. What the hell are you saying? It is not negligible at all. It's a massive amount of money. Like, so I am a good example for this particular thread. 650. Oh yeah, dude, GI makes like well into upper six figures in the private world, easily. It's a good job, man. Like, if you dig the colonoscopies and stuff, if you're cool with that, I mean, it is a great way to earn a living. Let's see. Where do I want to put that point? I don't know. Okay, I got that mastery. Guess I want to start. I already have that. Enemy's poison can't deal crit strikes. That's probably what I want. Yep. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I'm a very good example for this particular situation here, because my income falls in this range. So if I were to make an extra 30%, which is like a shitload of money, again, it's not a negligible amount of money. Things that I like, that money would be earmarked instantly. Like, my quality of life is great. Don't get me wrong. Everything's cool. I live well. I've got all the things that I need. But if I had that cash, I would do something with it. Like, most of it would get invested. But also, like, I'm a huge sports fan. I would get season tickets to Sporting KC games, or maybe even the Chiefs. Just to have them. Just because. I would probably have, like, a part-time nanny for my kids. So we had somebody that we could, you know, call on all the time instead of, like, just a babysitter, basically, who sort of comes around when we need her. Just, like, have an extra set of hands in the house, like, most days. That'd be badass, dude. You know, there's just, like, my wife kind of needs a new car. Get a new car, no questions asked. It's so much money, dude. And, like, it would all be gravy, because all of my expenses are already covered, right? But it seems as though there's this notion amongst doctors that, like, and this is fed to us too, right? That our profession is a privilege, right? It's like an honor to be able to treat patients. And while, you know, to some extent that may be true, you should still be compensated fairly for your efforts and your education. And just being like, yeah, well, you know, I make enough money. I mean, just, it's harmful to everybody else. That's where I take exception to this practice, right? Because there are enough people who are like, yeah, you know what, that's okay, I make a good living. That there's not a big enough base to fight for appropriate compensation. So when all of the, like, massive corporations come in and swoop in and, like, take us over, they are more than happy to grind us beneath their boot heel and keep salaries low, which is why physician salaries have lagged dramatically behind administrative salaries over the past, like, 30 years or so. Because doctors basically just don't advocate for themselves. Like, what other profession would say, oh, you're gonna pay me 650 grand to do this? You know, I think 500's enough. That's fine. It's fine. And, you know, there were some differences between those jobs, right? Like you said, one of them was 4 days a week, one of them was 5. And it's in academics, so it's hard to know what that means. Like, is that other day, like, a non-clinical time, or you're expected to teach, or go to conferences, or both? You know, like, what are you doing during that 4th or that 5th day? Is it time off? Is it some sort of, like, protective research time, or are you going to be working, just not in the hospital? Or are you going to have to use that time to make up shit that got stacked up during the first 4 days? Does academics be working like that? Do I think I'm compensated fairly? Given the market, yes. But, if... So, there was, I wish... I tried to find this a while back, but there was, somebody had gone through, it was actually in the Data is Beautiful subreddit, as I recall. They'd gone through and charted administrator salaries versus, like, physician salaries. And there were a couple other groups in there. I can't remember what they were. Maybe nurses and something else. In terms of, like, they calculated annual increase in salary. Like, you know, compound interest, basically, over the past 40 years, maybe. And it was something along the lines of, like, administrators had been 4%, whereas physician was, like, 1% per year. And so I took it upon myself to figure out what my salary would be like if it had increased by 4% per year. And it'd be something like $900,000. So a solid, what, like 40% more than I'm making right now. But, yes, given the market that I came into, yes, I feel like I'm compensated well. My job right now is really good. It's great. Like, we, the change to 16-hour call was very welcome and probably necessary given how busy we've been. And we just couldn't attract anybody. Like, the market is such that 24-hour call is sort of going the way of the dodo unless you just, like, don't do anything. Like, we still do 24-hour calls on the weekends because we generally just run one room at a time, and it's fairly relaxed, usually. I mean, it's kind of easy to get overrun because it's just you. So if, you know, multiple sites of service are busy, so like the ICU's killing you or OB's really busy, then shit gets hairy fast. But most of the time, it's not that way. We get adequate vacation, and the work environment is very good. Like, we have a good relationship with the surgeons. All of the anesthetists are strong. The partners in the group are really good. So it's pretty tough to get away from that. Like, I could make more elsewhere, but I'd also be working way harder. Have a much more demanding patient population and probably a less enjoyable group too. Whoa, a lot of shit going on. But yeah, that's the thing. I'm getting eaten alive in this thread on Reddit. I'm like, guys, I have taken a pay cut to improve my quality of life. That still doesn't mean that taking, like, just willingly taking a pay cut is a good idea. Like, for, you know, just in general. Like, yeah, 650 grand is way different than 500,000. And somebody was like, well, what about 30 million and 39 million? Well, it's still a 30% increase, man. Like, I'm sure there's plenty you can do with 39 million. Like, you can invest more. You can always invest differently. Ooh. If nothing else, you can buy a bigger building, buy more stocks, you know? Retire earlier. That's the big thing. To me, it's like, if you're Okay. Yeah, so you don't need more than 100 grand a year? Well, then why turn the $300,000 a year job down? Because you'll work a third as much. Like, there's never a reason to just voluntarily give up money. All things being equal, which of course they're not, right? Every job's different. And one thing you guys will run into is that, especially when trying to take care of, like mid-level providers, is there's a tendency to sort of piece together the best parts of multiple jobs. And that's not how it works. You know, there's, like, places select things that they want to be best at to try to attract people. And what I mean by that is you're not going to have a job that has the lightest workload, the most vacation, the highest pay, the best benefits. I mean, because the hospital or whoever's running the group would see that and be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. You know, like, we want to be an attractive position, but at the same time, like, we're way out ahead of the market. You know, so this is a bad financial move. And that sort of stuff gets pulled back. And rightly so. I mean, it should. You know, the places that offer massive deals are generally in bad locations. And that's because they have to offer those deals to get people there, right? It's a total package. So, like, if you get great benefits, great pay, great hours, but you live in the middle of, like, western Kansas, you know, that sucks. And there are tons of jobs in central and western Kansas, and have been for a while, because it's a shitty place to be. Like, nobody wants to be there. It's not close to anything cool. You know, there's nothing to do. I mean, to be honest, I would have gone there. Like, I thought about doing locums, and thought I was going to have to, straight out of residency. Because the job market was terrible at that point. But I sort of crapped. Hey, Bing Bong, what's up? Would you be able to get a job pretty easily? Yes, you would. I mean, assuming the market stays kind of like it is, yes. But I know that lots of places locally have had bunches of people retire. How you doing, man? You getting through that intern year? It's rough, man. I know it's rough, but you're halfway. Hopefully you're kind of in the groove by now, and it's a little bit easier. But yeah, the market here is still very strong. And I know, like, we'll have a guy retiring probably about the time you're graduating, honestly. Baby plus wife plus intern year, yeah. Doesn't get any better than that. Why don't you just have your second kid, man? Just get on that. That'll make it way better. I hear that's good for studying. Having 2 kids under 2 in your house. I don't see any reason to not do that. But yeah, if you wanted to come to KC, you could get a job for sure. I can pretty much guarantee you that at the very least, St. Luke's will still be short. And that is not a great job, but it does pay a lot of money, and it's a way to get your foot in the door. And kind of get the lay of the land. So, you know, you could do a lot worse than the $600,000 that they're offering. Like, you kind of get worked because, you know, again, it is a bad place for docs, at least. And they're sort of chronically short-staffed because they treat their people like shit and don't adapt to market forces or, you know, like, internal forces well. They're very sluggish and don't keep their eye on the prize. You know, they don't watch what's going on very well or react to it well, from what I understand. So if something goes wrong, you just kind of eat it, basically. Where you lose people, you just eat it. What makes Luke's bad? Long work hours, difficult call, sort of incompetent management, honestly, and it's academic, you know, so you kind of, you get into this world where people who sort of shirk their workloads are tolerated a little more and are harder to get rid of. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, get in touch with me for sure. I regret not getting in touch with you before you left for intern. Your life kind of got fucking ridiculous for me at that point, so I was struggling real hard to survive. I do, yeah, I know I don't know the market probably as well as I should, but I do have a pretty good pulse on what's going on. But yeah, definitely any resource that you can get is worth, you know, tapping into. So yeah, I'm happy to help out where I can. But yeah, you saw that I got the Table of Dreams completed though, man. They will have to have a beer, play some games. Haven't gotten to use it yet. But yeah, I think it's a real shame that physicians are so stupid with money, because it's really cost us a lot. Like, it's greatly enabled corporate takeover. Because we don't advocate for ourselves, and we don't recognize that we're getting fucked when we are. That's a shame. And because of that, like, we all suffer, right? And I'm not telling you that I'm like this great financial guru, because I'm not at all. I pay somebody to fix my money problems. Like, and I let it happen. I'm just, oh, what the fuck? That was a huge radius. Okay. Damn. Yeah, but I pay to make that problem go away and be handled by somebody else. But I do recognize the big, bad, and the ugly. And, it's very frustrating when other people are just, like, super complacent and, you know, sort of indirectly cause my life to be more difficult. I don't like that. Oh, God, that freaking hurts. Be back to have a look at the house when you get the new tenants in. Oh, yeah, I forgot you kept your place. That was a good idea, by the way. Super good idea. I wish I had done that. Speaking of being not financially savvy, we sold our old place, which was right next to Rockers College, basically. And it was a very nice little airplane bungalow, and man, we would have been crushing it with that house right now. We sold it because we made a huge profit.
Such a bad idea.
And we wanted some cash to, like, kind of furnish this place, but dude, we should have just eaten an unfurnished house for a long time and kept that other place. Yeah, that was a big mistake, and both my wife and I regret it wholeheartedly.
Salah.
Actually, not too bad. Let's see, block spell damage. Oh yeah, that's a great unveil. Just pull out first thing. Damn. Very nice. Double damage when focused. Those are all freaking awesome. Okay. Double damage when focused it is. Now I have another unveil to do. Do some residencies have in-state preference? So I don't real estate empire. I want a real estate empire, man. I'm gonna work on it. I think realistically that won't start happening until I pay off my student loans in like 8 years, but it's coming. And I have a couple friends who are like pretty into real estate and have a few properties, so they, you know, sort of know how it goes. And also, like, one of my best friends is a commercial real estate loan officer, so that kind of helps. Anyway, residencies, in-state preference, I would imagine that does exist. Because, especially for, like, primary care, it's very important to them that they train physicians who are going to stay in the area. Just like med schools, right? It's the same idea. Like, they want to spend their resources training people who are likely to stick around. And that makes sense. I don't think the preference is as strong as it is
Not since the fall of Death.
with med school. But, you know, like, these places still get a bunch of state funding and all that, so I'm sure there's, you know, some sort of at least unspoken motivation to take people who are, you know, tied to the state somehow. Having ties to an area was a pretty important factor. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that factors in somehow. Especially for the state schools. You know, I think it's... Like, these people generally aren't stupid. You know, especially for competitive residencies. They know that you're just going where you can. So wherever you get in, is where you get in. But they still want to maximize the probability that you stay. And why would they not? Ties to the city or the state. I mean, probably... I mean, ideally they would want you to stay there, right? Like, lots of places want you to stay at that institution because they've taught you your specialty the way that they feel it should be taught, or the best that they can teach it. So most of the time they want to, like, get a return on those resources, right? But yeah, state, if it's a state institution, then yeah, anywhere in the state, as long as you're sort of contributing to that, that would be good. But yeah, it's certainly not going to hurt to tell them that you want to stay in that local area, right? Like, when you're interviewing, like, oh yeah, of course I want to stay in Mississippi. It's a great state. It's my favorite, actually. Poverty, heat, humidity, lack of things to do, that's really my jam. Please take me. But yeah, I mean, it's all the same game, right? It's basically the same game, just a narrower field. Like, yeah, oh yeah, I loved transporting patients around the hospital. That totally informed my decision to be a doctor. Super helpful. Oh yeah, the student, yeah, for med school especially. Med school is definitely that way, like hardcore. I'm not really sure. Well, you know, now that I think about it, like, I bet you it's that way because residency is federally funded, not state funded, whereas the schools are state funded. Or state schools are state funded.
And so, like, here we stand.
But still, like, you know, like KU got state funding while I was there. So I'm sure they had some, you know, interest in keeping people in the state. Which really just, it only makes sense. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of ties into the package of sort of like obfuscating good business sense in their doctors. Like, we had a little bit of I don't know if education is the right word, because it doesn't really qualify as that in my opinion. We had some talks about like what to look for in a job, and a lot of it focused on like payer mix, which is sort of that's and what they mean by that is like what kinds of insurance the people that you're treating have. So obviously, like, the best case scenario is being in a cash-only, very affluent area where everybody comes in and just, like, puts cash on the barrel head for whatever they're having, right? There's nobody to chase. You know, you scan their card, swipe their card, whatever, and you have your payment. The next best is, like, private insurance, right? Like, high-quality private insurance. And then lowest tier would be Medicare and Medicaid. So if your payer mix is mostly Medicare and Medicaid, and by mostly I mean like over 30%, you can't actually run your practice. At least for anesthesia, you can't run your practice without subsidy. I don't know what it is for other specialties. It may be a different percentage, but suffice it to say that there aren't many practices that fall under that cutoff. Like 30% is not much, because the people who are having the most surgeries are 65 years and older, right? Or the most healthcare in general. So, yeah. So telling us, like, look for a good payer mix is like, okay. Like, everywhere serves mostly Medicare people. What are you trying to tell me? But other than that, as far as, like, what we should be making, nobody ever told us, like, this is what the market is like in Kansas City right now. This is what you should expect to make. These are the things that you should look for in your contract. Like, nobody ever said that. Any of those things. And I believe that part of that is because they wanted us to stay when we heard a big number. Because that's definitely the case for the anesthetist students. They just wanted us to stay in-house and be like, oh my god, they're offering me this much money? What do you think you should have before you start thinking of buying a home? I am probably not a great person to ask that, but just, like, off the top of my head, I would say, like, you don't want your home to be more... I think the general rule is, like, you don't want your home to be more, like, more than 3 times your income, right? And... you know, you should definitely have some fudge factor money in there, like, 'cause shit happens, right? Like, your furnace might go out, you might, like, get water in your basement, or I just have to buy a freaking new dishwasher. Like, the control panel on my dishwasher just went out, and it was like $300 to fix it. It's like a 7-year-old dishwasher. And so I was like, well, I'll spend $500 to buy a brand new one. Why would I not do that? So yeah, I mean, like, shit comes up when you're a homeowner. So you want some in the bank, and then, you know, that guideline. The guideline of, like, not more than a third or a triple your income. But you can play with that a little bit if you get a house and plan on having roommates, right? So if you buy, like, so you can buy up to a 4-plex and have it be considered a residential purchase. And residential rates are way better than commercial rates. For those of you who did not know that, I personally did not know that until I started looking into this. So if you have a nest egg, you'll have to budget. I mean, you'll just have to budget accordingly. But again, if you can swing roommates, that will make your life way easier, because you can probably just use them to pay for your mortgage, right? And probably cash flow a little bit too. But yeah, what I was going to say is you can buy a 4-plex on a residential loan, which is awesome. And if you have not owned a house before, you can get an FHA loan to do so. Yeah, there's lots of cool stuff you can do. And I mean, if you're in med school, like, you can, your chance, like, if you have room with your roommates, like, chances are med school, you know, people in med school are not gonna, like, fuck with you too much, right? Like, they're probably weird people, but they're gonna have a much higher probability of being, like, quiet and respectful and, you know, conscientious and stuff. So that's who we were gonna rent to, because we talked a lot about keeping our old house. And we'd be like, oh yeah, we were absolutely gonna rent to, like, law students or med students or something. Yeah, loans are scary, but that's really the only way you can do it these days. Property is just way too expensive. And honestly, the market's pretty good. Again, like, I think I'm up like 9% on the year for, like, diversified investments. I'll take that shit all day long, man. Gonna give me 9% a year compounded for the rest of my life. That is fine by me. Easy peasy, man. Yeah, and, again, once I kind of get, you know, loans paid down / paid off a little bit, we'll work on some more tangible assets, something that I control a little more. And I don't know, at some point I'll probably like divest myself from this, you know, financial advisor thing, because I'm paying him like 0.8% a year plus a flat fee. And they're not really doing anything other than like funding my retirement of 529 and like occasionally moving money around and stuff. But for now, you know, I don't have enough where that's like a huge chunk of money and it's like costing me shitload to where it's worth me doing that. And I don't really know enough about the situation to do it well myself. Oops. But hopefully at some point that changes. Ah, okay. Fuckers. Oh, lots of stuff killing me. Chevron unbound. But yeah, taking on like hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt is not what I would call it a good time by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a shame like nobody tells us this stuff. You're just kind of like randomly supposed to know like what your income potential is, what you should do with your loans. Yeah, that's another thing, like loans for student debt. Nobody tells you how to get out of that. I never heard one thing about any of the like government, you know, loan repayment options. Never heard anything. Oops. Bummer. Level nice, 67. Nice. Almost nice, I guess. 2 away from nice. Wow, she is just working my frickin' totems. Hey, where'd you go? There. There's just like, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. And, you know, again, I get the impression that it's like the schools are kind of trying to wow you with their big sticker price when in reality they're screwing you over, right? Like whatever number they're offering is kind of crap per market value. Compound go. Yeah.
I'm not up to that just yet.
Maligaro's misery. Yeah, I think they rely on you. They rely on loans is scary, right? That's the game they're playing. They're like, oh, well, you have these loans. You could definitely pay your loans off with this package. Yes, I could. Or I could go to a rural hospital and sign a contract with them and have them pay my loans off, right? Or I could do the same thing and get some amount of loan forgiveness and do a public service loan forgiveness plan with the government. I forgot what it's called now. It's not the PSLF anymore. It's like Save or something. Yeah, whatever it is. I'll have to look that up so I don't sound like a bumbling idiot when talking about it. Yeah, it would be super nice to have some sort of idea what's going on, so we don't run into the, you know, oh, make enough trap. Or on the flip side, one thing that just occurred to me is you need to know like when you're being mistreated. But that's definitely not taught in residency because you're constantly mistreated. Everybody treats you like shit all the time. And if they were to be like, hey, you know, you don't want these things in a job, you'd be like, well, you know, it seems to me that I'm doing all of those things in extreme fashion right now. Like, I'm taking on more than I can handle, I'm working ridiculous hours, I'm underpaid, like, I'm not rested well, I take too much call. Huh. So you're telling me that what I'm doing right now is basically like the anti-ideal job. Got it. Thanks for setting me up for success, guys. Yeah, it's sort of an awkward balance of like educating you and making sure you can do your job, but also keeping you in the dark just enough so that you're controllable. Oh. I didn't realize he was in his shadow phase. I thought I was just like focusing down the boss. I was like, wow, I'm doing damage a lot faster for some reason. Ugh. I guess I'm more tired than I thought. I slept all night though. Slept really well last night. Yay, fuck you, Malgaro. Off I go.
I'm not up to that just yet.
Oh yeah, no wonder I was so slow. In both the Tip Chain's aura and that dude's proximity shield. Of slowing me the fuck down. Oh, same problem going on here, that sucks. Alright, man. Gonna need you guys to that. There we go. Thank you. Yeah, very much. Oh, I never crafted the sockets on the top support. Dang it. When I kill the boss. Ouch. Oh, I think I've only gotten like 2 actual chaos drops. Traded a caustic arrow of poison gem for like all the income that I've ever gotten in the game this league. Which is good. It gave me 6 mint armor. I'll take it. You want to get caught in that scream. It hurts. Dude, I do look forward to the day where I am debt-free, though. It's not coming for a long time. That will be a glorious moment. Because like all my shit's locked into super low interest rates, so I have no reason to pay it off, basically. So yeah, I have a 30-year mortgage on my home that's gonna end when I'm like 64, I think. So, yeah, I'm gonna be in debt for a while. I will be working for a while. I'm unhappy with this. this development. Oh well. Hopefully by then I'll have managed my money and my real estate empire well enough that that won't be a problem. Ugh. Okay, Sin. Open that shit. Kill the depraved trinity. So I shall. Yeah, single target on this build is not great right at the moment, but it will be ridiculous once I get the blade blast setup going on.
My mana is gone.
Just did, oh, the flask is out. Great. That's cool. Why don't I go back to town? Get my man flask back. Also, Cockroach, where are you buying a house? You kind of talked about buying a house for a long time. I figured you had sort of already done that, honestly. I mean, it's not doing anything but building equity as long as you're getting that mortgage paid off by somebody else. That's what I would do. I would buy a fourplex so you can, like, have your own place still, but can also rent it out to people. I mean, you know, it'll obviously be more expensive because it's 4 homes. But, or at the very least, you can get a duplex. So you can still rent to somebody, pay your loans off, you know, probably pay most of your mortgage with that one rental, and then just live in the other unit. But yeah, for that reason, a fourplex is better, because you're relying on 3 people to pay your mortgage instead of 1. You'd swing that, that'd be awesome. Aw, where'd you go? My potion up. Clever dude. Ready to go back to town again for another mana potion? Lame. That sucks. Been a shy guy all your life and should change that? Well, medicine has a funny way of doing that when you have to, you know, stick your hand in a stranger's ass all day long. Yeah, you'll get over the shyness pretty quick if you go the GI route. Like an amulet?
You're questioning well.
Yeah, I mean, I go and basically just talk medicine to 25 total strangers every day. It just, I mean, you know, when you do it thousands and thousands of times, it's just no big deal. You get used to it pretty fast. Let's see, that's really good. That is a remarkably good amulet. Huh. Okay. Cool. More segments socially. Yeah, I guess that doesn't really have any effect on how you function socially, does it?
The product I see you.
Still, I'm sure, like, there's gotta be some overlap, right? Like, I'm not a particularly, like, shy or socially anxious person, as you can probably tell. But, yeah, I mean, there's gotta be, like, some carryover between those two things, right? Let's see. Yeah, that's probably a 10C amulet. Should put some life on there, though. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about you. Katava's Thirst. Let's see. 3 sockets. So this is the way you get sockets that are off color. Wait, what? Okay. I wonder how many of these I have. 3 green. Holy shit. Okay. Blue. Damn it. And blue. Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, 4 linked sockets. So getting green sockets on this is really hard because it's more difficult to get sockets on a like an item that doesn't include that color. So like green is evasion, blue is energy shield, and red is armor. So this has armor and energy shield. So that is very difficult to do. Actually, here. Let's see. I'm gonna look this up. Yeah, you'll have plenty of opportunities, man. Like, I'm sure, doesn't your class, like, party? Great time to go out and meet a bunch of people who are on the same page. 1558. So to get 3 and 1. Yeah, on average, this takes 260 chromatic orbs. And I used jeweler's orbs. I used a different thing, but that's a lot. That is a lot. Give me life, please. Not that much. Not that much either. That'll do. I want that to sell fairly fast, so we'll put it up for 10. I feel like I'm playing Mega Man right now. Oops. Okay, level 44, and I need 69. Nice. Do wear that. And I can sell that. This. You, I keep. I keep. Like I buy a mana gain on hit with spells. And I'll have 6 link armor. Cool. We are cool and the gang. I'll have to buy... Well... Maybe I won't necessarily have to switch things up. Probably have to get a bow that does something other than that. Sure. It's actually not a bad roll on there. Okay. Back to it then, I suppose. Oh, I never turned that in. Yeah, ideally I want a dagger with this build. Like a dagger that has lots of increased damage, and then also like damage over time multiplier, because then I'll put yes, I'll put Spellblade on my
See ya.
Blade Blast, and that actually ends up being a lot more damage. Okay. I don't think I have any more bookkeeping stuff. Let's see. Good job. Never gonna do that. Not gonna do those. Completed boards outline. Don't care about Roost. Great. Off we go. Oh yeah. What the fuck is that sound? I know that's like somebody's MTX.
It is good to see that you survived, my
Is
friend.
that a bunch of like weird
Farewell.
genies or something? Around? Huh. I just hear that sound. It's like, what the fuck is happening? It sounds like Nurglings. If you know what Nurglings are from Warhammer 40,000, that's exactly what I envision them sounding like. I need your services once more. I got real fucked up. Oh, I want Blade Blast so bad. I thought about doing the build that Ziggy D's doing, the like giant single poison thing with the new Viper Strike gem. Looks really cool. And it looks super easy to gear, which is nice, with the tinctures that let everything poison. Like all damage types poison. That'd be cool. But I've been wanting to do this build. Fuck. Been wanting to do this build for a long time now, like since the beginning of last league. I was gonna league start with this last time, and then they came out with the Guardian reworks, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do an Absolution Guardian. And that was a good idea. That was a really good character. But this is going pretty smoothly too, actually. I'd very much like to have my 6th link on and start slinging them blades, though. I do need that Ethereal Knives gem, though. I have to keep reminding myself of that. And I'll have to roll a Divine Life Flask at some point for Pathfinder awesomeness. I'm not gonna get that Ascendancy, though, the Potion Ascendancy, until the very end, though. That'll be my Uber Lab Ascendancy. Jesus, I'm tired. Whew. Burning the candle at both ends, man. That is dad life and being post-call, even though my call was easy. It has been an interesting week, to say the least. So my kid, like, I guess he's, like, totally over the constipation thing, speaking of long weeks. So I think, like, yesterday, maybe he still had some, like, you know, nausea or something from all the laxatives, like, the insane amount of Miralax that he took this weekend. But today, he had, like, 2 complete dinners. Like, 2 full dinners. And was still asking for more food afterwards, so I think he's re-upping just fine. This is 64. Okay. So yeah, the boy feels better, which is great. He's come a long way from parents thinking perhaps he has diabetes or like cancer or something fucking terrible.
Into the heart of madness I tread.
Durability is not so great. Oh, those are all ghosted though. No wonder. That I'm not using any defensive force because I'm an idiot. Ow. Ooh, what was that? Something dropped down here? How did... what? How did something down here die? What the fuck? Oh, it's a Chaos Sword. Wow. That was cool. That is a substantial amount of income. Yeah, I wouldn't have liked it if it was 3 Chaos Orbs though, because it's pretty much the same thing. Say doctors. Yeah, I'm just amazed that like people who are so smart and work so hard can be so stupid about money. And I mean, that's like, it's me too. I just never knew anything about it. You don't figure it out until you're like in the middle of getting hosed, you know? I think that's part of why so many people, like, it's a very common thing for people to work at their home, like their training institution. Because they're like, oh yeah, great job. Like we were talking about, they get sort of lured in by an early contract and, you know, familiarity and all that stuff. And they just don't realize that you can make like 40% more somewhere else. Yeah, that's probably an exaggeration, but it's probably pretty comfortably 20 in most places. Okay. I need you to go away. Alright. Brutal Bear, fuck off. You and your proximity shield. It slows me down. No interest in that whatsoever. Yeah, not the right way. I think Valenta's gonna work me, man. I don't have any Chaos Rays. My wife is sending me TikToks. That is usually interesting. It's sometimes bad. Oh, Chaos and Wither resistant. Runaway time. I don't really know why I'm killing rares anyway. Oh. Ouch. Wow, that guy's fast. Ugh. I'm dying. I am dying. Crazed driver. He will fucking veer into your lane. Glacial map. Okay. Slowly building my supply of maps. Man, those tormented spirits are not doing any favors for me this time through. Jesus. Blood? That's awesome. I, Blood, will knock you all down. I've always loved the names of rare enemies in action RPGs ever since the days of Diablo 2. They are great fun. Alright, there we go. Let's get in here. Alright, Valenta. You and me, girl. Let's go. Ouch. I assume this is chaos damage. I don't think I've ever actually checked that. I am not pro enough at this game to care. Or like tailor my resist to any particular cost. Oh, ouch. Valenta, you suck. Get out of here. Toxic Brain has really done a lot of work in this build, man. Very, very nice supplemental damage. Ethereal Knife as it stands is just absolutely terrible single target, too. Kinda need that.
My mana is gone.
Valenta. Yay, Coral Amulet. How nice of her.
Bannon.
Alright, what do I want from you? Assault Blast? Onslaught's an interesting thought. Maybe I'll take a Silver Flask, yeah.
You return from your hunt.
I do. I hunted Valenta. I killed that bitch. Alright. I want you to give me things. Give me currency, please. Whispers of Doom. So I guess I need to hook that up to Bane. Oh, I need to buy Temp Chains again. Because I turned it into the gem. That I sold for 19 chaos. Okay. Where am I gonna put that? How about right there, where it was? I'm a genius. Chains. That one. You go right there. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Why do they teach you to take a manual blood pressure when you use a machine? I don't know. I don't know. That is very antiquated. I guess just so you know how to do it. If you work somewhere that for whatever reason doesn't have an automated blood pressure cuff. Which is nowhere. Yeah, and it isn't accurate. That's, yeah, it sucks. Takes longer. Yeah, those sorts of things, like, I mean, there's just so much inertia in medical education. It's crazy. The one that we have fought most recently in anesthesia is the introduction of Sugamadex, which, yes, is an actual drug name. but it's like revolutionary for waking people up. Because what it does is it binds the paralytic instead of competitively inhibiting it. So you used to competitively inhibit it with neostigmine. Because like the paralytic works at acetylcholine receptors in your muscles, basically. And so the neostigmine, you know, increases the acetylcholine that's there, so it outcompetes the paralytic after the paralytic's worn off for a while. But the Sugamidex just straight up binds the paralytic and stops it from working. So your reversal of paralysis is basically complete, and so you have a lot less like respiratory suppression in those patients in the recovery room. Like, it used to be pretty common. I mean, well, I don't know, common's the right word. It's certainly more common to have people like re-intubated or needing BiPAP or something, you know, some sort of like ventilatory support in the recovery area. And now that's like, you know, unless you needed those things beforehand, it's pretty unusual. And so they specifically released Sugamidex to cost like just slightly less than neostigmine plus the glycopyrrolate G. So if you just give somebody neostigmine, they'll have like lots of side effects. Basically, they need super bradycardia, and their heart can, you know, they can have problems from that. They can get hypotensive and all that. So you give them glyco to basically counteract that. But they price Sugamidex so that it's actually cheaper than those two drugs together. So it's cheaper, it's better, but pharmacies in particular still threw a hissy fit because it's more expensive than just neostigmine, which is ridiculous. And also very short-sighted, because, like, re-intubating somebody is very expensive. So you pay for that cost pretty quickly by considering the reduced number of emergent re-intubations. And, like, people don't stay as much, there's not as much, like, anaphylactosis and all that sort of stuff. So patients just do better overall with Sugamidex, because it's an awesome drug. It's revolutionary for anesthesia. And critical care medicine, I guess. But yeah, there was a bunch of resistance to that when it first came out. But it had been out in Europe for, like, a long-ass time. And it had gotten held up here because there were concerns about anaphylaxis to it, which I don't think have ever turned out to be founded. I mean, like, yes, you can anaphylax to it. You can be allergic to anything, right? But, like, as to whether those, you know, like, there's an undue amount of anaphylaxis to it, I don't think anybody's ever shown that that's the case. And I certainly have not noticed that. I've only seen one person anaphylax to Sugamidex ever. And we use it on basically everybody. Because again, it's the best in slot. It's the drug to use to wake people up. Yep. Oh, I'm so close. So close to my 6th link. And having this build work the way it's supposed to. It's been 68 long levels. All I need is a 69. That's right. But yeah, there's so much stuff that they tell you to do that is just useless. Let's see. Immune to fire damage? I don't think I care about that. I mean, how about being directed to buy an otoscope or ophthalmoscope? How many places have you been where those were not readily available? Probably zero, because they're readily available everywhere. If you're gonna need them, at least. Let's see. far does that reach? Nice. Okay. Avoid being all of these things? Okay. Oh no, no, no. You guys are screwing up my explosive placing party. I'll put it right there so I can barely reach this. Actually, pretty comfortably reach that. Okay. Detonate explosives. Go, Poison Proliv, go! Are you dying? Gains random charges. Ouch. Yeah, I'm not really doing the League mechanic until maps, basically. I'll get that going. I really wanted my character, like, functioning the way I wanted first. And it always seems like they adjust the League mechanic pretty substantially in the first couple, you know, like first week or so. Oh, there's the actual thing that I'm looking for that I literally ran right by. Cool. So I cleared this, like, entire place just to find that. Okay. Perfect. Get some despair. Be desperate. Alright, he gone. This track is very reminiscent of an old track off of Sasha, or no, not Sasha, John Digweed's album Bedrock. I dig. I dig it. I can apply an additional curse. How about that shit? Tip chains, here you come. I probably need to get Bane too, so I can actually apply those things. In one cast, that is. Or get Arcanist Brand. Which do I want? Bane might be better since I actually do scale chaos damage over time. Increased armor and max charges. Well, so that's probably not too bad, actually.
Exile.
Alright, give me stuff. You give me stuff.
But always keep your eyes on the horizon.
That is not a good belt. That is not a good belt at all. The flash stuff is actually not too bad. But...
For freedom.
May humanity flourish. May humanity.
Right, well, I'm actually kind of fading, so I think I'm gonna call it a night. Go get me in bed, pass out, and hopefully my kid doesn't wake me up too many times. So thank you guys for joining me. I didn't quite make it to the end. I thought I was gonna make it to maps today, but it's a bummer. In any event, I will hopefully see you guys on Sunday. But thank you for joining me, and take it easy. Have a great rest of your week. I'm Milkman L. Peace out.